Take a look at volume. The biggest thing about volume is plugging it in. Okay, so go ahead and make a tab, pause the video and copy the 4 examples down. So all we're going to do is just plug in numbers into formulas. You don't have to even remember the formulas, actually, except this first one. Alright, so volume is a space inside the 3D. So area is around the 3D, volume is inside the 3D. And if you look on your reference sheet, you'll see all the volumes there except prism. But prism and cylinder are the same thing, because remember from our definitions, the only difference between a prism and a cylinder is the base is a circle. Pyramid and a cone is a base is a circle. So they're the same thing. So we're actually going to put them together. The volume is the area of the base. So whatever the base is, the area of that times the height. And remember, the base are the two faces that are parallel to one another. So you got to find them. So let me first make this shape 3D. Alright, two bases are parallel to each other. So it's got to be the triangles. Because if you look at this triangles, they're parallel to one another. It can't be the rectangle because the rectangle meets the other rectangle on the other side. So let's go ahead and label our triangle. So it's 3 and the height is 5. For the height, it's the distance between the bases. The height of the shape is the distance between the bases. So the distance between the two triangles is 3. So a half base of the triangle, which is 3, times the height of the triangle, which is 5, is 7.5, times, because it's area of the base, which is 7.5, times the height of the actual 3D shape, which is the distance between the bases, which is 2. And you just put that in the calculator, 15 inches. And in terms of the notation, it's always going to be inches cubed, because remember, for area, it's going to be squared, and then you're going to multiply by the height, which is also in inches, and now you have inches squared times inches is inches cubed. Alright, number 2, again, find the area of the base and multiply by the height. Okay, so remember, the base is the two that are parallel to one another. This time it's a circle. That's the only difference between the prism and the cylinder. So I need to find the area of this circle. So what's the radius of this circle? I'm not given, so I'm just going to label it r. Okay, the area of any circle is pi r squared, which you get from the formula sheet. So I'm just going to write it as pi r squared because I don't have any numbers. Okay, so area of the base, which is pi r squared, times the height between those two bases, which is 12. Okay, we're also given volume is 1356.48, so that's why V becomes that, equals pi, which is 3.14, I don't know the radius, times 12. Now I need to isolate r squared, so I'm going to start by multiplying 3.14 times 12. So I'm going to get 37.68 r squared. Divide both sides by 37.68 so I can get r squared on its own. This is a listening check. Let's color the cylinder in example 2 that we've drawn. So r squared equals 36, so you can't see it, but that's what you're writing. Take square root of both sides, so r is equal to 6. So r is 6 yards, and this is a listening check, put cubed. 6 yards and then to the power of 3. In terms of the reference sheet, I want to point something out. You see how that's a capital B? A capital B means the area of the base. So when you see volume, you'll see a capital B. But when you look at area, you'll see a small b because that's just the base. So capital B is area of the base, and then regular B is just the base. So a pyramid, I'm just going to copy this down, is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So 1/3 times the area of the base. So remember, the base is lines that go from the base to the vertex, and they go to one vertex actually, most specifically. So the base is that rectangle. Go ahead and label the sides. Alright, so we need to find the area of the base, which is base times height, which is 30, times the height, so that's the vertical distance from the base to that one vertex that they all meet. It has to be vertical, it can't be slanted, it has to be straight up and down. It makes 90 degrees, and that's going to be 8. And then go ahead and plug it in the calculator, but make sure you put parentheses over 1/3 so that you don't get an error, or rather you don't get a wrong answer. So 80, and then because the units are for area feet squared and you're multiplying times the height, which is feet, you'll have feet squared times feet, which is feet cubed. So units for volume are always cubed. So pyramid and cone are the same thing. The volume is still the third times the area of the base times the height. So let's fill in the information we have. So we have volume, which is 167.47, equals 1/3 times the area of the base. So the area of the base is a circle. So let's draw the circle. What's the radius? 4. So pi r squared is pi times the radius, which is 4 squared, which is going to give me 16 pi. So 16, and we know pi is 3.14, so we can use that, times h. Alright, let's multiply all these numbers out so that we don't confuse them later on. So h must be what we're looking for because it's not labeled. So 16 times 3.14 times 1 over 3. Alright, so do not ever round before you get to the end. So I'm going to just do dot dot dot, divide both sides by that to get h by itself. And when I put it in the calculator, make sure I put the whole thing. So I'm going to go 167.47. And then to get that answer, I'm going to hit second. And then you see where it says blue answer right on the negative sign. Hit that and it'll give you that answer. So to the nearest hundredth is 10 centimeters. This is a listening check. Put cubed by the centimeters. And that's pretty much it. Let's practice.